What seemed like an ordinary delivery soon pulled Qing Li into an unexpected confrontation. Beside him, Li Chenxiao remained so calm that Qing Li could not decide whether to trust him or stay suspicious. Then a giant wolf appeared, and everything suddenly spiraled out of control. As the secrets surrounding Laoda and ATU slowly came to light, Qing Li began questioning the truth behind it all, and when ATU was placed in danger, Li Chenxiao suddenly appeared with a warning that could change everything. Early the next morning at Li Chenxiao's villa, Qing Li woke up after a completely exhausting night. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw Li Chenxiao sitting in front of him, calmly waiting for him to wake up. Qing Li panicked, but Li Chenxiao simply explained that he had exhausted his demonic power and passed out after protecting him. Qing Li almost gave himself away, but quickly hid any sign of suspicion in his eyes. Li Chenxiao remarked that Qing Li's demonic power was too weak and that he was not physically strong enough to continue as a bodyguard. Still, he acknowledged that Qing Li had done his duty by genuinely stepping in to protect him, so Li Chenxiao offered him another option: join the Xuanqing Express field training program. If Qing Li passed the test after 1 week, his position would be restored. If he failed, Li Chenxiao would find another bodyguard. With no other choice, Qing Li reluctantly headed to the Xuanqing Express department, feeling completely frustrated. Holding his helmet, he never imagined that his own plan would somehow land him in this situation. The system quickly assigned employee 90 Qing Li to work alongside a veteran employee known as 0001. That person was Master Li, a cold-looking employee with an extremely strict work ethic. Qing Li immediately accepted the assignment and followed Master Li throughout his first day on the job. But when he saw his partner's large delivery vehicle, he could not help admiring how professional Master Li seemed. Then he saw the vehicle assigned to him and was instantly disappointed. It was nowhere near as impressive as Master Li's. Their first delivery was a special order for a vampire count who lived alone. Qing Li had to use his demonic power to keep a bottle of tomato juice perfectly chilled without letting it freeze. Next, he had to deliver an order to a 1,000-year-old tree spirit, carefully spreading the powder without waking the cats sleeping beneath its roots. The entire day passed with one bizarre assignment after another, yet Qing Li still had to keep rushing to the next delivery point. By the end of the day, he was exhausted and desperately wanted a break, but one final delivery was still waiting. Qing Li began to lose his patience, feeling like he was doing all the work, while veteran employee Divergent barely seemed to help. Just then, a group of motorcyclists suddenly appeared and blocked Qing Li's path. Laoda and his men quickly determined that the item they wanted was being carried by the delivery team. Qing Li noticed that the people in front of him were carrying all kinds of demonic equipment and immediately went on guard. When Laoda stepped forward, Qing Li did not back down. He prepared to face them head-on. The pursuers rushed forward together, but Qing Li quickly dodged their attacks and countered, sending Laoda flying backward. Qing Li thought they were far too weak to make him take them seriously, but Laoda remained determined to get the item. As the situation grew more tense, Li Chenxiao suddenly stepped forward and told Qing Li to leave this matter to him. Qing Li thought his veteran partner was finally going to show what he could do, but Li Chenxiao calmly said they had no choice but to surrender. Qing Li was completely speechless, while Laoda immediately sensed that Li Chenxiao's presence was nothing like that of an ordinary employee. Laoda assumed Qing Li was nothing more than a minor henchman, which immediately irritated him. Instead of denying it, Li Chenxiao calmly admitted that Laoda was actually quite good at judging people. Moments later, Li Chenxiao revealed a familiar mannerism, and Qing Li suddenly realized that Master Li and Li Chenxiao were actually the same person. Before Qing Li could even process what was happening, Li Chenxiao produced the very item Laoda's group had been searching for. Only then did Qing Li realize that what seemed like an ordinary workday had pulled him into a much bigger secret. Qing Li was stunned when he realized that the person standing in front of him was actually Li Chenxiao. Li Chenxiao remained completely calm, simply saying that he was fishing. Once the bait had been taken, Li Chenxiao no longer needed to hide his identity. Laoda and his men looked at him suspiciously, but Laoda quickly realized that the real fisherman was Li Chenxiao himself. Qing Li could not help laughing, thinking that no one had figured out Li Chenxiao's true identity. Laoda made a deal. If they handed over the soul-sealing crossbow, he would let both of them go. Li Chenxiao immediately handed over the box, leaving Qing Li furious because he had never agreed to surrender. When Qing Li tried to object, Li Chenxiao suddenly pulled him closer and reminded him that they were outnumbered and should not fight head-on. Li Chenxiao leaned closer and told Qing Li to be patient. A skilled fisherman always knew how far to let the line run. Before Qing Li could react, Li Chenxiao covered his mouth and pulled him away from the scene while their enemies watched. After securing the item, Laoda decided to withdraw because completing the mission was more important than chasing the two of them. Once they left the area, Li Chenxiao quickly moved forward with Qing Li between the buildings. Sitting behind him, Qing Li had to hold on tightly while struggling to keep up with Li Chenxiao's incredible speed. Eventually, Li Chenxiao had to stop so Qing Li could get off and regain his composure. But after looking around, Li Chenxiao discovered that Laoda and the other demons had already already entered the spirit sealing zone. The spirit sealing zone was established by humans to suppress supernatural powers and reduce conflicts between humans and demons. That also meant that once inside, even Li Chenxiao would lose his ability to use his powers normally. Without hesitation, Qing Li followed Li Chenxiao into the zone to pursue Wu Laoda's group. The moment they entered, Qing Li discovered that he could no longer hide his fox ears with demonic power. Li Chenxiao explained that Qing Li's fox ears were part of his true form, while his own long hair was actually just an outward manifestation of spiritual energy. Qing Li immediately noticed that Li Chenxiao's familiar long hair had turned short, making him even more suspicious. After a frustrating argument, the two of them quickly spotted a bakery right in front of them. Qing Li was surprised that Wu Laoda's group was nowhere to be seen, while Li Chenxiao calmly walked into the shop. Instead of asking directly about their pursuers, Li Chenxiao started buying pastries while casually asking the shop owner about anything unusual that had happened recently. The shop owner said that strange wolf howls had been heard throughout the area, and some people had even reported seeing a giant wolf. Li Chenxiao continued asking questions, and soon learned that the incidents were all connected to the area behind the mountain. Qing Li realized that Li Chenxiao was quietly gathering clues, and just a few questions had already given them their next direction. Meanwhile, Li Chenxiao kept buying more pastries, making Qing Li wonder if they really needed that many. Li Chenxiao casually claimed that Qing Li was a big eater, leaving him annoyed at being blamed in front of the shop owner. But just as the two were arguing, a distant wolf howl suddenly echoed through the air, signaling that the real clue was much closer than they realized. Qing Li immediately turned around and urged Li Chenxiao to follow the giant wolf as it left the area. The two quickly moved through the streets, following the wolf's trail. As they gave chase, Qing Li secretly calculated that if he could use the wolf's strength, he might finally achieve his goal. But Qing Li soon realized that Li Chenxiao seemed slower than he had expected. Seeing Li Chenxiao calmly eating even while chasing their target, Qing Li grew increasingly impatient and urged him to hurry. Ahead of them, the giant wolf raced through the night, heading straight toward Wu Laoda's group. It suddenly pounced from above, catching the demon clan members below completely off guard. The wolf opened its jaws with a powerful roar and continued closing in on the panicked group. Xiao Ya stood frozen in fear before the giant wolf, barely able to react to the danger. Wu Laoda immediately stepped in front of Xiao Ya, but the wolf's powerful attack sent him flying backward. Even while under pressure, Wu Laoda turned back and ordered Xiaoya to get away from the danger. Just then, Li Chenxiao and Qing Li arrived, and quickly pulled Xiaoya away from the attack. Wu Laoda immediately recognized them as members of the Xuanqing sect and demanded to know why they were there. Wu Laoda's subordinates struggled to hold their ground and urged him to use the soul-sealing crossbow, because they could no longer keep fighting. Wu Laoda immediately pulled out the soul-sealing crossbow, preparing to use the weapon they had just obtained against the wolf. But the giant wolf charged down with overwhelming force, making the situation even more dangerous. Qing Li watched anxiously, knowing that his spiritual power was still being suppressed by the spirit sealing zone. He realized that without his powers, both Li Chenxiao and everyone else could be in serious danger. When Qing Li saw the soul-sealing crossbow in Wu Laoda's hands, he immediately decided to use it himself. Qing Li rushed forward and grabbed the weapon, determined to test it against the wolf before things got completely out of control. Holding the soul-sealing crossbow, Qing Li quickly aimed it directly at the giant wolf. Li Chenxiao immediately warned him, but everything happened too fast. The arrow shot straight toward the wolf, drawing its attention to the incoming attack. But the moment the arrow reached the wolf, its immense power knocked it straight back. Qing Li froze as he stared at the weapon in disbelief, completely unable to understand what had just happened. The wolf immediately changed direction and charged straight at Qing Li, leaving him no time to react. At the critical moment, Li Chenxiao rushed forward and pulled Qing Li out of the wolf's path. Wu Laoda also stepped forward, deliberately drawing the wolf's attention so the others could retreat. The wolf unleashed another powerful attack, knocking Wu Laoda away from his position. After the confrontation, the wolf's blue eyes revealed an unusual expression as it looked toward Wu Laoda. Finally, the wolf turned and disappeared, leaving everyone behind still trying to understand what had happened. When Wu Laoda demanded an explanation, Li Chenxiao calmly pointed out that inside the spirit sealing zone, their powers were suppressed, while having greater numbers gave their opponents a major advantage. Wu Laoda looked at the soul-sealing crossbow with confusion, unable to understand why the treasured weapon had turned out to be a fake. Li Chenxiao calmly explained that the soul-sealing crossbow was a treasure of the Xuanqing sect, so until everything was properly investigated, he could not simply hand it over. Wu Laoda immediately questioned Xuanqing's responsibility to protect humans from the demon clan. Qing Li remembered the giant wolf's unusual gaze and began to suspect that things might not be as simple as they appeared. Li Chenxiao placed a hand on Qing Li's shoulder, quietly keeping him calm as the argument grew more heated. With Wu Laoda still on guard, Li Chenxiao offered offered to use the soul-sealing crossbow himself and promised not to leave the spirit-sealing zone. Seeing that Wu Lao was injured, his subordinates decided to keep a close watch on the two while treating his injuries. After leaving the area, Qing Li still questioned Li Chenxiao's decision, thinking he was far too willing to trust Wu Laoda. Qing Li even suspected that Wu Laoda might have deliberately provoked the giant wolf to stage the entire incident and obtain the soul-sealing crossbow. Just then, Xiaoya appeared and insisted that Uncle Wu was not a bad person, temporarily putting their argument on hold. Qing Li was annoyed that Xiaoya was still following them, but the little girl had no intention of leaving. Xiaoya kept staring at the bag of croissants, making Qing Li realize that she simply wanted more pastries. Li Chenxiao took out the last pastry from the bag and explained that he had originally planned to save it for a late-night snack. Li Chenxiao gave the pastry to Xiaoya and gently asked about her parents, while Qing Li could only watch helplessly as he took care of her. Xiaoya explained that she had been separated from her mother after the giant wolf appeared, making finding her family their immediate priority. Xiaoya grabbed Li Chenxiao's hand and asked him to help find her parents, while Qing Li grew increasingly impatient with her. Li Chenxiao decided to take Xiaoya home while continuing to investigate the giant wolf by questioning local residents. Qing Li turned away, insisting that he was only doing this to investigate the case and definitely was not trying to meddle in other people's affairs. When they finally found Xiaoya's family, Li Chenxiao and Qing Li were thanked for bringing her home safely. Qing Li gradually realized that Xiaoya's family had an unusual background, with humans and members of the demon clan living together as a true family. The photographs in the house revealed their past, showing how Xiaoya's parents had found her during a crisis involving the demon clan. From the moment Xiaoya called them mom and dad for the first time, they had decided they would never leave her behind. Qing Li seriously reminded her parents to keep a close eye on Xiaoya and never let her wander into dangerous situations. Standing beside Qing Li, Li Chenxiao quietly observed Xiaoya and paid close attention to every detail of her story. Xiaoya quickly explained that she had not gone looking for trouble. She only wanted to help Uncle Wu figure out how to deal with the giant wolf. Li Chenxiao recognized the exceptional hearing of the rabbit clan and began asking Xiaoya what she had heard in the square. Xiaoya remembered hearing the giant wolf's footsteps coming from the forbidden forest behind the square. Xiaoya's father explained that the forest had once been a park but was sealed off because it had become too dangerous. Wu Laoda's people frequently patrolled the area. Xiaoya also remembered hearing Wu Laoda's voice coming from the direction of the forest, which was why she became curious and went there. Based on these clues, Qing Li immediately suspected that Wu Laoda had trapped the giant wolf inside the forbidden forest and wanted to go back and confront him. Li Chenxiao remained calm, reminding Qing Li that the matter had not been fully investigated and they could not draw a conclusion without evidence. Qing Li refused to accept the explanation, pointing out one suspicious detail after another and insisting that Wu Laoda was definitely hiding something. In the end, their disagreement boiled over when Qing Li angrily asked Li Chenxiao whether, as a human, he had always stood on humanity's side from the very beginning. Standing in the middle of the forest, Li Chenxiao calmly stated that he stood only for every life that had been harmed. Qing Li disagreed, saying that if Li Chenxiao did not want to get involved in demon clan affairs, then he would handle it himself. Qing Li immediately rushed away, while Li Chenxiao suddenly sensed an unusual fluctuation of spiritual energy deep within the forest. Qing Li raced through the woods, determined to find the wolf before the Xuanqing people could reach it. Eventually, he discovered the giant wolf A2 tightly restrained beneath a tree, making him even more convinced that Wu Laoda was hiding something. But right before Qing Li's eyes, Wu Laoda gently approached A2 and tried to treat its injuries. The sight left Qing Li stunned. The very person he had suspected was secretly taking care of the wolf demon. When A2 lost control, Wu Laoda repeatedly called its name and tried to bring it back to its senses. Qing Li appeared before Wu Laoda and questioned why he had been secretly protecting A2 without telling anyone else. Wu Laoda immediately became cautious and asked Qing Li why he had come there. A2 suddenly struggled violently, causing the chains restraining it to begin breaking apart. Wu Laoda immediately warned Qing Li not to hurt A2, showing that he was still trying to protect the wolf. Qing Li dodged A2's attack and realized that its condition was far more serious than he had imagined. He was forced to face A2 while it was completely out of control, as Wu Laoda continued desperately trying to restrain it. Qing Li could not understand why A2 had become so aggressive until Wu Laoda finally revealed the truth about its past. A2 had once been like family to Wu Laoda. They had escaped from an underground laboratory after experiments had severely damaged A2's mind. Wu Laoda had kept A2 in the forest only to prevent it from hurting anyone, but the effects of the treatment were becoming increasingly difficult to control. Qing Li still refused to give up, believing that there might be a way to save A2. Qing Li used the chains to restrain A2's legs and rushed straight into the confrontation. The battle quickly became intense as A2 struggled, sending pieces of stone flying throughout the forest. Qing Li dodged the falling rocks and tried to get closer to Atu as the situation became increasingly dangerous. He suggested taking Atu with them and finding a way to treat it, but Wu Laoda suddenly realized that Atu was charging toward them. Atu attacked without warning, sending Qing Li flying before he could react. Wu Laoda looked at Atu with pain in his eyes, admitting that it had struggled for far too long and that he might have been holding onto an impossible hope. He gently called Atu's name and said that he knew it had never wanted to hurt anyone, and perhaps it was time to let everything come to an end. Atu was placed inside a formation, while Li Chenxiao watched carefully from a distance. Qing Li sensed an ancient blood aura within the formation and began to suspect that it was not created by the righteous sects. Wu Laoda admitted that he had prepared the formation from the day he brought Atu into the forest, in case he could no longer control it someday. Qing Li immediately tried to stop him because he believed there was still another way to save Atu. Wu Laoda looked at Atu and remembered the days when they used to play together as children. He stepped into the formation, choosing to stay beside Atu one more time rather than let it face the end alone. Old memories returned, showing how Atu had once suffered inside the laboratory, while Wu Laoda could only helplessly watch from outside. When Wu Laoda was young, he once asked his father if Atu's treatment could be delayed, but was only told that everything was necessary for the experiment. Even so, young Wu Laoda secretly brought food to Atu and tried to comfort his only friend. He once promised to take Atu out into the outside world and always treat it as family. Back in the present, Wu Laoda suddenly coughed up blood as the formation began reacting violently. Atu roared inside the formation, its body trembling as the power within it spiraled further out of control. Wu Laoda stared at Atu in pain, then realized that the formation was changing in a completely unexpected way. Qing Li panicked and turned to call for Li Chenxiao when he realized the situation was rapidly getting out of control. Li Chenxiao appeared and immediately warned Qing Li that if he wanted to save Atu, he absolutely must not move on his own. Atu is on the verge of losing control, while Li Chenxiao seems to have already noticed something unusual. Can Qing Li save Atu? And what is Wu Laoda really hiding? Share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next chapter.